that's the game, right? Like either you're right or you're wrong. Either you win or you lose. But if you're gonna come to me and tell me you don't have time in a world where I work every fucking second for 18 hours a day, right? You're gonna have a tough time making me feel bad that it's not happening for you, because that's part of it.
It's simple. It's now or never time.
What would have had to have happened in a week for you to look back on that week with pride? Okay, maybe stop breaking promises to yourself. When you say, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 7 a.m. and when the option comes to hit the snooze button, don't do it. There's one win that you've got for the day. That's action.
So it all comes down to this moment. This moment is the only time we can transform. And I say joy now or never.
Don't miss the opportunity of this moment, because the days are going to be long, but the months will be short.
You have an opportunity. Seize the opportunity.
We all get wake-up calls. We get wake-up calls in our relationship. We get wake-up calls in our finances. And some people, the phone's ringing off the hook right now. They're getting wake-up calls on a bunch of things. They're at home with their family, and they're starting to realize, I was disconnected from my family. I haven't been plugged in. They got a wake-up call on their relationships at home. They've gotten a wake-up call on, I don't have any savings, and I'm deeply in debt. This isn't working. And so the cool thing is, when you get the call, then you have to make the choice. Are you going to answer the phone? If you pick the phone up, that means, baby, it's time to change. Are you going to answer the phone? Are you going to change your life where you say, never again?
Maybe it's time to increase your quality of life. Maybe instead of staying in the middle back seat, it's time to upgrade to the exit row.
Right? Or business class.
Business class. Or maybe it's time to eat at a different restaurant. Maybe it's time to really think about your money dial and say, hey, I always claim that wellness is important, and yet I'm still eating like the same old thing I used to eat 10 years ago. Maybe it's time to upgrade what I eat and where I work out and all that kind of stuff, my gear. You can do that. Yeah. You've made it. You already won the basic game. So now you get to benefit from it.
I believe if you're the kind of person that has spent too much time thinking about where to go, then it's time to get in the car and start driving.
And you have to be able to pivot quickly. You have to be able to adjust fast. You have to constantly be aware of the changes around you. And you don't have time to kind of say, well, I'm going to give it 6 months and think about it. You give it 6 days and hit it. The fastest person doesn't win the race. It's the person who starts first.
Be the now of what you want to be later. It starts right now. And if you're not doing the now, don't ever expect the later to be the person you want to look in the mirror. Everyone's like, oh, later in life, I want to do this. Later in life, I want to do that. Later in life is turning around, looking in the mirror right now. That's the later in life. And unless that turnaround is something in progression, later in life ain't going to be anything different.
Absolutely, you do whatever it takes, okay? Even if it risks your life. That's your dream. I made the decision that, look, this is what I want to do. Somebody's give me an opportunity, I'm going to take advantage of it. I have 24 hours in the day. I try to take advantage of every hour.
Yeah, most days I just want to wake up and make the most of the time I have. I realize it's finite and that I think I'm here for some purpose. That's what I was trained to believe my own family spiritually, like we're all here for some purpose to give. Then mostly I'm just like constantly worried that I'm not fulfilling that promise. I was like, wow, if I'm not pushing myself to do more and to have more impact, then I'm not really taking full advantage of why I'm here.
Because if you spend your time learning too much and never acting, you're going to fail, right? If you spend your time acting, but you're never learning what you're doing, you're going to fail. If you spend your time chasing opportunity and never doing anything, you're going to be at best in some famous person's entourage, right? I think that's how those people end up there, because you see opportunity but you never act.
As humans, I've realized like we all have these
reservoirs of this untapped potential inside of us and can achieve these extraordinary things when we're focused, when we shine positivity and light, when we lean into those that we love and uplift and co-create together.
But we usually don't pay attention to what's here right now. Right now, you and I are here. Everything we think our story is, our accomplishments, our problems, are BS. We're just this moment.
It's true.
And everyone watching this, if you really understand the highest truth of what's going on, we're all even. There's no, this person is better or less, and there's none of that. We're just this space that's here. Now from here, you have sky's the limit possibilities.
I chased opportunity, like viciously chased opportunity. Then I learned once I got there, and then I didn't hesitate to apply it.
You know, the worst thing you could ever do is if you're pursuing the wrong dream, or if your dream changes and you don't change with it.
I know from a personal level what that feels like, to be in pain or to feel like you're not worthy or that, you know, you're never going to be anything.
And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to free my own mind.
Yeah.
And resentment and anger and all these things that I kind of would just keep internally. It's time to rewrite this story.
If you're about to make a change in your life and you feel uncomfortable, that's the best feeling you can have. Because for the first time in your life, you're making a decision that's going to be best for you.
Now is your time. It's your moment. It is your day. Now is your time to win. Now is your time to make a difference. Now is your time to have an impact. Now is your time to make straight A's. Now is your time to be noticed. Now is your time to be heard. Now is your time to be seen. Now is your time to do this thing. It's your moment.
The only belief that matters is that if you put time and energy into getting better at something, you'll actually get better. And that those skills have utility. And typically when somebody learns something easier, we say, oh, they were born with it. But the reality is they get a disproportionate return on the amount of time that they spend studying that thing. They still have to study that thing. And so you don't find people achieving just levels of greatness. You know, even take a LeBron, who the amount of time that he spends working on his craft, making sure that his body's in peak physical condition, reading the game, all of that. He has to do all that, even though he has also incredible natural talent. So it can be useful to look for areas where, hey, I have a love for this thing and I'm good at it. I get a disproportionate return. That's a better way to think of it. That when I put energy into learning this thing, I get maybe 1.3x return on that versus somebody else who might get a 0.7 return. But what I want everybody to understand is you get a